Alrighty, should be live. Good evening, everyone. Time for another Miniatures Rundown hobby stream. This is where we just paint and hang out and chat about Necromunda and many other things. So today, the theme of the day is Necromunda, which is very appropriate. As the title suggests, I've got my Orlock here. Let me move them on camera for you. There we go. Focus. There we go. So we are looking into doing a campaign here very shortly. We don't know if it'll be our last campaign of this edition or not, because we don't have our hands in the new edition, so we don't know if we like it or not. And we're not making any promises until we know if we like it or not. But it's definitely a campaign. It'll be in Secundus. So I was thinking to myself, originally I was going to do Van Saar, or maybe even Vendors, but even though if I don't know if I'm going into the new edition or not, I want to be prepared, and I didn't want to build a bunch of models when things might change a lot, because who knows. So Orlock I've got already built, already set up, and I just need to get some paint on them. Sorry, you guys don't need to see the comments that you guys can already see. So, and some of them are even already painted, which will save me time in the long run. Now, Secundus is a weird one because you really don't have access to much in the way of trading post after you start. So how you start is a lot more important than other campaigns where you can kind of start, very budget and then get used and then get more geared up as you go. It's a little bit less of an option here because you just, everything's you start off at a -2, and that's pretty brutal as it stands. And it only gets worse from there. Power knife, power maul, power pick. So it's been a long time since I started just a base Orlock gang. I do know I've got some staples. So like right here, I've got my Wrecker with his flail and auto pistol. That's a staple. He's definitely going to be in the gang. He's already painted. I only need to base him, so we're not worrying about him. For leaders, it's interesting because your leader can be a lot of things in Orlock because they're very, 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 very versatile and just very tough. You start out in the Ash Wastes, but you transition into Secundus Hive, which is underground, and for us will be in the Zone Mortalis boards. So it's kind of like, do I build him super, super close rangey and just kind of have him not be able to do much in the Ash Wastes, or do I build him long range and then get something else for him later? I guess what I'll do is get all my Orlocks out, because I don't want to paint my entire Orlock force, because, that will waste time. Other things, though, that I do know are going in the gang. I've got an Arms Master here with a combat shotgun. I recommend an Arms Master in every gang. He's obviously not painted, so he is something we're going to be working on tonight. Arms Masters have that -1 leadership, which is fantastic, or -1 to battle test, sorry, which is fantastic. Heavy Bolter Gal here. I want some kind of heavy weapon. Orlocks are very lucky that they are one of the few people who have suspensors on their house list, which means that I am a little less nervous than I normally would be about starting with a heavy weapon. And in the Ash Wastes, I figure Heavy Bolter is pretty good. It's, if you hit a Ridge Hauler from the sides, it's still wounding on a 5 as opposed to a 6. And with lots of DACA, you combine that with Bullet Lord, you actually have a pretty good chance of even hurting heavy vehicles. More importantly, though, this is one of the champion alternate models from Forward to World that I've had for a long time that I've not used yet. I'm using her just because models first. So she's getting on our painted list. Here's another one. This is just going to be a basic ganger with an auto gun. Same thing. Reason I'm using this because I just love this model. This is another one of the champion models from Forward to World. I just love this model. And lastly, her. This is probably going to be either a greenhorn or another ganger. Just, again, cool model. Want to use it for the purpose of it. So leader, let's get out our stash of Orlocks. I've got the book here. Oh, can't have it on screen for too long. We'll get copyright struck. Not really. That would imply that Games Workshop pays attention to or cares about any of this. So, what else have we got that we might want to start with? So I've got one champion in the Arms Master, one champion in the Heavy Bolter, and that's probably all we're going to have the money to start with. 2 gangers, or a ganger and a prospect. I need to figure out what I want to do with leaders. And I've got a lot of different things I could do with leaders. It's probably not going to be the guy I ended up with last time. This lad who has a... Here, let me zoom in so you guys can see. Come on, come on. There we go. Sorry, making sure it's in focus for you guys. There you go. All right. Probably not going to end up using this lad here, who has a combi bolter melta. As awesome as that is, I'm probably not going to be able to afford that. It's also not on his house list to start with. So, no, wait, yeah, it is. I forgot. Combi weapon bolter melta. Ooh, do I just go all in and just, completely have this incredibly expensive leader with a great weapon and a power pick? No, that's a terrible idea. That's a great way to start the game with like 6 models or something, right? Let's not do that. It would be really funny. Probably not gonna have any more heavy weapons, so melted guy is out. Mining laser guy is out. Plus the mining laser and the ash waste. Not a great idea anyway. Arc hammer guy probably out. Plasma guy. Oh boy, this is a tough one. I do want a specialist of some kind, so I will have a specialist. Generally, specialist always has a grenade launcher. Got this lad here. Oops, there we go. Get on camera. There you go. Got this lad here for the grenade launcher man. And not a plasma gun, because, they only hit on 4s. And they don't get skills. Or they do get skills, sorry. But they only have shooting as, I think, a secondary. Now your leader has shooting as a secondary. Wreckers have shooting as a primary, which has always been absolutely hilarious to me. I mean, the gangers do have shooting as a secondary, but, secondary skills you're not getting that anyway. So I think, unfortunately, the plasma gun is getting left at home, as odd as that is. Ganger with a shotgun, will find room for him in there, because it's a ganger with a shotgun. He's also painted. Although I'd like to redo his, well, I like to redo a lot of him, honestly, but we'll worry about getting the ones done that we have done. I really would like a second wrecker in here, honestly, but I don't know if I can afford one. Let me see, I've got lots of bolters and combat shotguns. Lots of just mooks with auto guns, who are always handy. But man, that leader's a tough one. I don't have any more Orlock kits to build another leader with. I could kit bash this guy into something a little different. Power pick and plasma gun is feeling like the way to go, because it's not very expensive and it's pretty darn effective to start. So, yeah. Yeah, normally a specialist starts with like a really cheap auto gun, and then you get him a grenade launcher later. And let me see, what is the status on a grenade launcher? Or rather, the rarity, because I know it's 65 credits. Special weapons, grenade launcher is, that's not a grid. I was like, what? It's rare 8, so rare 10 with the debuff to start, which is not a lot. But also not very little. So, Okay. So yeah, the question of whether to start with an auto gun and hope that we get a decent trade roll early, that is a tough one. But I think one we can put off till later. Because at the very least tonight we've got these 5 or 6 people we need to paint up. So we'll put a pin on that. And rather put a bookmark in my book. There we go. Okay. Quick drink real quick and then we'll get started. Okay. Who are we going to start with? Everyone's got their blues on them. Arms is kind of last, honestly, because he's the only one who doesn't have the normal blues on him. Looks like I believe I got the basic blue done on everybody already. Where did my painting handle go? Very disorganized today. Painting handle. Oh, there you are. My painting handle had been eaten by some Van Sar. But I ate it back. All right. Now, he's also got his skin, well, kind of done. Very, very, very light olive skin there, I believe. The olive flesh. Let me see. Sorry, get back in focus. Nope. Come on. Come on. There we go. Need to get some of his fingers off of here. A little bit of that. And where's my small brush? Nope, that's my big brush. That is literally the opposite of what I wanted. Okay. Now, double check this is the right skin tone. Okay, it sure is. Good. Need to catch some of his fingers that I didn't quite get to. Now, most of the time they're wearing fingerless gloves, but there is like little bits like in here that I didn't get, so just want to smack those really quick. Now, I know this olive flesh looks very, very strange as like a flesh tone, but once you put a good wash over it, it really comes into its own as an actual flesh tone, and that's what we're going for. All right. So we want to work our way out. We've got the blue, although I need to double check I've got the right blue. What blue did I use? This is the problem with picking up a project after you've done it for, or not done it for a while. Was it wolf gray? I don't think it was wolf gray. Was it runic cobalt? Runic cobalt, not kobold. Although runic cobalt sounds really cool. Let's try runic gray. Well, let's see. Yeah, I think it's wolf gray. Get a little dab of that. I am using an actual wet palette again, which I didn't need to for a while because it was so darn humid in here that it didn't matter. Yeah, let's do one more coat of that because I think on camera it looks a lot better than it actually is. Oops. Fix that a little bit. Get some nice blue there. Hope you're all having a good week, whatever you might be doing. It's been warm here, but not overly warm. It's just been normal warm for, July in the Midwest. It's supposed to be 80 degrees in July. That's normal. It was not normal when it was 100 degrees in June. Hello, Mr. Rundown. How are you? Hello, Adam R. Paints. I am good. How are you? Please, Mr. Rundown was my father. My father was not Mr. Rundown. That'd be weird. But yes, it's nice and warm here, but the humidity is backed off enough that I can paint again. Because for a while it was so bad, I really should get a dehumidifier running. Less so for my painting, which I could, there's ways to compensate for that. But more for my printer. My 3D printer has not been running lately. My filament printer, I should say, because it is just doing too darn hot. All right, so. And these guys have kind of a black pants and then I think it's black pants and then black shoes. Now, if I recall correctly, we don't use black for the shoe pants. We use ironclad gray, which is like a very, 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 very dark gray. One moment, I need to sneeze. Okay, sorry about that. Are you still not in focus? Oh, it's auto-focusing again. Dang it. 1 second. Okay. Come on. Now that should be it. Okay. Alright. Get a little ironclad gray, which I don't ever really paint straight black because then when you shade it, nothing happens. With some exceptions. You can tell that at one point this guy was this man was unfortunate to be a test bed for many different speed paints, which is why he's got a green boot. We'll be undoing that. But I've definitely learned my lesson about painting outside in. So, save myself the pain of having to repaint things. That's why I did the skin on all my guys first. I would think of names later. Maybe we'll have a naming stream. Come up with names for all these guys. I've never been good at naming because I think it's an anxiety thing of I feel like I have to be silly because if you're not silly, then it means you're like putting actual what's the word, commitment into it, and then if someone doesn't like it, then you feel bad because it's, you know, it reflects on you or whatever. But screw it. Only one way to get around that. Alright, now obviously that gray looks very light right now, but we'll be redoing that later. Although I kind of want to go one step darker than that. Which I don't really have anything for. Well, I do. I have this super weird coal black. That's more of a green black. From, why can't I say P3? I want to say Pro Acryl. It's different P. Alright. So. Okay, of course, I gotta paint all the chains on this guy. That's always fun. I should get some blue in by the collar. This is always the nightmare part, right? But easier to do it now than when the jacket's painted, so... and that's okay. There we go. Okay. Yeah, stuff is still not drying as fast as I'd like it to. But it's at least tolerable. Alright, so for you, it looks like I used my very, very dark brown, which would be Brigadine Brown. Hello, Papa Smurf King. Hello, Duke Moosey. Oh, they're not going to be all blue. Their skin's not blue. Abu-dee-dabu-die. They do have a bunch of new browns to play with. I've got Grim Brown and Hull Red, which is really kind of a rust brown. I got these more for their weathering purposes than for actually painting brown. But there's no reason I can't use them. Let's try this Brigadine Brown, which I believe is what I used last time. It's a very, very dark brown. But yeah, we are gearing up for Secundus, which is, yeah, the list building is a challenge for that one, because it's like, well, what do I do? Do I invest early, but have fewer guys? Or do I, you know, go wide early, but when you can't replace people going wide early, if you really feel like you want to invest in armor in all your guys, because, like, you know, if they take a stray shot and just fall over dead, it's not great when it's that early, when you can't replace them because of the mechanics. On the flip side, having not enough guys is a great way to lose people anyway. If I was smart, I would probably not be bringing that heavy bolter lady, but I am because I'm not smart, and also I want to use it, dang it. I will not be playing a Secundian Incursion gang, which is one where you're led by a Spryer. Thought about it, but I decided I'm not going to, or at least I don't think I'm going to. I kind of go back and forth. Crucible76, hello. Hey, how's it going? Thoughts on the big rules reset? Personally, I think cleaning up the rules is overdue, and I'm worried they might dumb things down too much. We did a stream on it where we were kind of basically of the same opinion, which is I need to see them because there's a lot they could do. Did they need to reset it? No, they could have just, they could have fixed things up without a new edition. It's always the confluence of marketing and actual gameplay. I gotta see it. I gotta see what they pull. I gotta see what they do before I can make any judgment call on it. Because if they don't change, it's kind of there's a few things that they could change. If they don't change too much, then it'd be fine. Or if they do change a lot, but it feels like Necromunda, then they'll be fine. My big worry personally is, oh God, how are they going to monetize the books, right? That's the big worry. Because as someone who owns almost everything in Necromunda, I don't relish the thought of buying a bunch of new books. And if I have to rebuy a house book for every single gang, it's not like 40K, where you're kind of really only, now people don't do this, but in 40K, you're really only kind of supposed to buy, the codex for the army you play. Most people don't play multiple armies. A skirmish gang like Necromunda, playing multiple armies is kind of more normal, and therefore having to buy multiple books, and we already know they're doing basically an index reset, so the question is after that's all said and done, how are they going to monetize the new ones? And we don't know how long away from release we are. It could be, they said this year, but that could be 2 months, it could be 3, it could be 4, it could be 5. I believe the leaks say like a month or 2. So we are not committing to jumping or not jumping to new edition because we don't know what it's going to look like and how it's going to cost like. I'm not going to immediately say, oh, this is terrible. They're terrible, greedy people, and they're just doing this for money. Because they are. Like, let's be very honest here. GW is a terrible, greedy corporation who's doing this for money. Like, let's get that out of the way first. GW ain't your friend. Ain't my friend, ain't yours, ain't nobody's. But, like, what some have suggested is they could end up monetizing it more like they do Horus Heresy books, and that is way more palatable, although still kind of a problem if you don't want to buy a bunch of new stuff. The big thing is that under no circumstance will I be telling people they need to move to the new edition, because that's just not true. With Necromunda especially, it's all about your local group. And if your local group doesn't want to move just for financial reasons, just keep playing the old edition. It works fine. Heck, buy a new edition, one new edition main book, look at what they did, and then back template those onto your existing gangs. Make your own version of Necromunda with blackjack and hookers. You can do that. They can't come to your house and stop you. And it would all be different if they sold cheap PDFs, but they won't. And sooner or later, they're going to figure out that that's, well, or maybe they won't, Maybe they'll figure out that's a problem. Maybe it's not a problem because maybe I'm the sucker, and the fact I'll buy some of these books anyway says more about me. And they'll just go, well, nope, we don't need to sell the cheap PDFs because people will buy them. But, yeah, I'll tell you right now, I don't think I will be, if they want to sell me a new House of book for every single gang, I will not be buying them. I just don't have the money for that, personally. My current group is in the middle of a big campaign, so I'll probably just run off the old stuff until we're done with that, and in the meantime, waiting to see what the new stuff's like. Yeah, and I absolutely don't think that's a bad idea at all. In fact, I think that you'd be kind of a fool. I think you'd be foolish to stop everything you're doing to pick up the new rules. And you got to remember, the new rules aren't designed for current players. Like, it's always a bitter pill to swallow, but whenever you're dealing with big corporations, the name of the game is growth. And you having owned all the books doesn't help them grow. So we could end up in a weird situation where, I will tell someone who's looking at getting into Necromunda, where it's like, yeah, you should start with the new edition because it's actually way better to get into. Um, then yeah, you do run into things like, what do you do when everything is kind of freely available online because piracy is a thing, right? Like, that's already a big thing with Necromunda. And we don't talk about it on the channel because, you gotta not fly too close to the sun with that kind of thing. Because that is the kind of thing that does get you to notice with GW. And not in a good way. Not that they've ever noticed us in any way, let alone a good way, which is actually kind of fine. Knowing what we know about their creator content rules, I don't think we would ever be a good fit for them doing what they do now. And we don't really want to, which is fine. But yeah, I definitely don't think you should. Don't drop everything. Like, I have a feeling that our Secundus campaign is going to continue into after the new edition drops, and we're not going to stop and use new rules or whatever. Like, if they come out with a really cool idea and we go, oh, that's a good fix, you can always just steal it. Hey, wow, they got rid of intelligence and replaced it with this thing that is way more eloquent and elegant. Cool. Steal that idea. Right? No one can stop you. Let's get a little more reinforcement of the blue there because it's just the problem with these blues is they're very transparent. Well, I should say the problem with my blues off of my palette. We're painting with watercolor today, folks. But yeah, so we are not excited, I guess is the right word, because I'm excited to see what happens. I do love the new Escher and Goliath models, both. Those are two new kits. It is very interesting to see that they're not replacing them. I do not think they'll be going into... They're not kill teaming it, where it's like you get this gang and it's this thing. It looks like they're not doing that. If they did, I would lose interest immediately, but I don't think they are. All right, let's get... Okay, so we've got your shoes. Are your shoes fully painted? Do I need to put another layer on? Probably do, but I'll come back and do that later. Let's get your jacket. Which, okay, so on him, looks like I kind of did, just use black on the jacket there to differentiate it a little bit from the pants. Yeah, that is the best case, Crucible 76, is that, like, the best case is that we could look at the changes they made and just go, oh, so we don't need to buy a new book. Right? Like, we just go, oh, so, like, again, I keep saying intelligence because it's, like, the most useless stat in the game. But, like, let's say they just removed intelligence. Oh, fine, okay, we can do that. That would be the best case, and that's kind of what I'm secretly hoping for. I almost dare not voice it, because I'm worried that if I if I hope too hard, I'll be either I'll be disappointed, or So I've got strap gray. I want something that's black, but just quite not black. Although I could just paint black. If I want to just paint black, what black am I using? I've got matte black from RE Painter. I've got Thalmar black from P3. Do I have a Baden black? I can only use a Baden black. I've got it. 1 second, I'm going to roll over and see what I got. Lights. Camera. Darkness. So here's a fun trick for speed painting black. Is another one of those paints GW paints I've not found a replacement for, which is Black Legion. And it's one of their, not speed paints, it's one of their contrast paints in theory, but in reality it doesn't do the contrast thing. It's just a very, very, very liquidy black paint. And I quite like it for just establishing black. Oh, I forgot I had to rip the thing off of this one because it was misbehaving. That's why I don't use these anymore, because their stupid pots are terrible. I hate you so much. I know it's not on camera, but I'm struggling with the pot, basically. Grumble, grumble, grumble. let's grab some and then come back to our model here. But anyway, the Black Legion, you can literally paint over almost anything. It's basically just a black paint, but very liquid. I'm not sure you could use it to establish a lot of layers, but if you just want to get things really black really fast, like this, like what I'm doing right here, it's a wonderful paint for this. But yeah, kind of hoping that it just ends up being like, and I'm hoping for the monetization, because they will monetize it, is, I mean, what I would hope is they would finally, like, discover PDFs again, but that's not going to happen, because they've realized that, I guess, I don't know. I'm not even going to try and see it in their brains. But I hope it's a little bit more like Horus Heresy, where instead of getting a book for every faction, you just get these books that have, are themed around certain things. And go-to for Black Templars is that with a dry brush of blue, dry brush of gray. Yeah, that makes sense. I have not really learned to paint black armor very well. Mostly I've just been too afraid to try. Oh my god, come on. There we go. So, like, yeah, this doesn't perfectly black everything out, but it's going to make a much nicer base for the actual layer of black paint than this brown did. So, kind of saving myself a few layers here. Pop in for a hi and see you later. Got to get back to digging holes at work. Well, have fun digging holes. You are a nurgling and you're digging a hole. Diggy diggy hole. Diggy diggly nurgling. Unless you're not having fun, in which case I'm sorry and I hope it goes very quickly for you. I dug a lot of holes at work as well, because I work in farming sometimes. And much holes are dug. Although I don't need to when the dang possums are doing it for me. I gotta get one of those 3D printed things that holds the pot open. I know I know they exist. I'm gonna look for one of those when the stream's over. Okay. Well, Nurgling's digging holes. Anybody else doing any hobby tonight? Necromunda or otherwise. I feel kind of bad because we haven't done a lot of Necromunda stuff on the channel lately. And that's just because what we're doing is taking so much prep time. We're actually trying to look to just do something that's kind of fun and quick, just to remind people, like, yeah, don't worry, we haven't forgot about Necromunda. But we're just doing this really big project with the Zone Mortalis tiles. It's kind of been pushed to the wayside. No hobbies, just watching. Hello, Code Monkey. Yep. My other factions are KO, Caradron Overlords. Those are the airship dwarves. That's for Code Monkey, because we were talking about those earlier, actually. Fire Slayers and Votan. So digging fits. Yeah, okay. So you're here for. I'm sorry, Kevin's not online because you're a man after his own heart, or a person after his own heart. Sorry. Because yeah, Kevin is all the dwarf factions all the time, and I don't own any. I do own Caradron Overlords actually. More for the airships than the dwarves, honestly. I'm more on Team Steampunk Airship. Airship dwarves. Airship dwarves. Yes. Again, it's so weird. Age of Sigmar is a very odd duck in that sometimes they do things like that. It's like, well, what if we just did something completely weird and different? And then they come out with, like, their elves, which are all very, you know, played close to the chest. Very like they're like too afraid to rock the boat. And there are rumors that, and this has been a rumor for a while, so I don't know how much to pay credence to these, that the Fire Slayers, which are fiery dwarves, they're always half naked, and, you know, they've got big axes and they're all on fire, and they've also an army that has not received a lot of love from Games Workshop in Check's notes a long time. shall we say. So there's a lot of scuttlebutt that they might be being combined with Caradon Overlords or with another faction to make like a big Dwarf Kingdoms faction. I'm not sure how much I trust that, just because the balancing would be a nightmare, because Fire Slayers are one of the, well, supposed to be some of the best melee models in the game. They're not, because they've been kind of out, left behind. But that's the idea behind them, is they're very slow but very powerful. And then Caradon Overlords are very mobile and very shooty. So having both of those in the same army would probably be a balancing nightmare. Unless everything was just grossly overcosted. I need to get back into Age of Sigmar. I always did enjoy playing it. But there's so many games to play, I've got my rats. Okay. Get in there. There we go. Try not to get on his face too much, although it's hard because his face is butting right up against the liner of his cloak there. So I might have to go back and fix that. In fact, I know I will. But that's okay. Okay. If I was smart, I might black line out the chains as well while I'm here, because Metallic will go over that, and Metallic prefers to go over black rather than anything else most of the time. Now, if you tuned in last episode and wondered about the tiles, don't worry. I'm still working on those, but it's all the same weathering over and over again, so I decided to do something a little more interesting for on-stream today. It's only so much fun to be had with pigment powders. Plus, it's hard to do that on camera, I figured out. Oh, got his ear with the black. That's okay, we'll get in with our brush and fix that later. Here we go. Okay. One thing I have learned, don't make the mistake of not shaking up your contrast paints every now and then. Shaky, shaky, shaky. All right. There we go. Yeah. After this stream, the first thing I'm doing is going on the Thingiverse and looking up some of those, because you can get like these things that I have, that hold the pots so you don't like spill them, but you can get ones that will hold open this annoying pot thing. And yeah, I know there's this thing right there, but this one broke because it was being a pain in the butt and I forced it. So I could get something to hold it open for a little bit, like a weight. Could also just take this and put it on my palette, but the contrast paint would get watered down or dry weird, so I don't need that in my life. So we're just gonna tough it out. We only got a little bit to go anyway before we just probably don't need to get up in here like I'm doing, because no one's gonna look under his jacket. Well, no, I'll know it's there, and therefore I must. Come on, there we go. Okay. Hey, now he's starting to look like he would actually look. What else do we need to do? We need to do his gloves, right. Which are also, as you can tell on him, Combination of metals with the very, very dark brown leather. Can't tell which one is his glove and which one is the fold in his shirt. I think it's this first one here. Nope. It's the second one. Here we go. There we go. Whew. Okay, so his little thumb is going to be... Sorry, I'm bringing this close to my face to be able to see it real quick. I think I might need to invest in those magnifying glasses. And I should find my Carrion Overlords, my airship dwarves. I've got them somewhere. I believe I put them away because I really bungled priming them with a rattle can and it got some texture on it. I now know how to fix that. I didn't at the time. I kind of thought it like ruined them. But at the time, I think I put them away in shame and disgust. It's still in focus. Yeah, as in focus as it's going to be. There we go. Oof. Fingerless gloves. Everyone was wearing fingerless gloves. Saw an Escher gal doing the Bartman. I thought about like putting on, because I've heard that YouTube doesn't pound you for putting for video game music because they want you to do Let's Plays and stuff like that. But I don't know for certain. I don't monetize these streams anyway, as you can tell by the lack of ads. So if it gets, but I don't want to get monetized and then introduce a bunch of bad ads, or worse, to get the VOD muted. Because I know some people do watch this from the VODs, and if you're here from the VODs, hello. I hope you're having a good day in the future. And getting some painting done, or some hobbying, or just having a good time with, you know, your cat. Unless you're teaching your cat to paint, in which case I demand to know how. Alright. I'm putting it off, but I should just do... this guy is, obviously, you can kind of tell. He is converted. Although, really quick, while that's drying, I want to check something real quick. Because I'm thinking about starter weapons for this guy. And you got the Road Captain, the leader. Now you can start with the Power Pick, which I've got on him, which is 40 credits. You also do the Servo Claw, which is 30 credits. Two-handed hammer, which is awful, I'm not even going to look at. Just a chainsword, which is also not a bad weapon. I just need to make this decision now, because I'm going to convert him. I better do it before I start working on this other arm, right? Let me see. Chainsword is +1 to hit, but it's just user strength, so strength 3, that's not great. He does have access to the fighting knife, which is eh. The power knife, which is always a favorite of mine, because it's strength +1, -2, 1 damage. However, the power knife is 25 credits. Only 25 credits. Last cutter I can't afford is 85 credits. Power pick, which is strength +1, -3 AP, which is why I keep it around, because it kind of always nullifies armor. Only 1 damage, but it does have power and pulverize. Power maul, which is cheaper than the pick, because the pick is the most expensive at 40 credits. The maul is strength +2, so better strength, strength 5 instead of strength 4, but only -1 AP. And then there's also the servo claw. The servo claw being a very interesting one. It is also only 30 credits. Whopping strength +2, 2 damage, but no armor piercing. So it kind of falls away in the late game where there is no armor, when everyone's got lots of armor and you have nothing. On the other hand, armor piercing is very, very good. So, let's take a look real quick at my, because I just really like the servo claw, which I should show you for those of you who don't know what it looks like, what the heck I'm talking about, and why I'm so jazzed on it. Servo claw is this guy. And I kind of want to take this off and put it on him. That would be really cool. It also keeps you from wearing a servo suit. It does. Though I don't think that's a concern with this campaign, because by the time I get to being able to afford that, it's going to be way out of my reach. Although, wait, why would I... Hold on, why would I convert this guy? If I'm going to do that, I could just... I just spent 40 minutes painting this guy. But anyway, by the time I get to the point in a campaign where I'm using would have access to a servo harness, it's going to be so impossible to get, because it's going to be -4 to get on the trading post or whatever. And plus, I never really put that... I mean, it does give you +1 toughness, but... The other thing I don't like about this guy is his head. Do we have another Orlock head? I think we do. Whenever I paint these guys and their little biker stuff, I always think of the bikers from the music video for Falco's Amadeus, which is the, Amadeus, 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 oh, 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 Amadeus, come and rock me, Amadeus. There's that part where he's dressed as Beethoven, not Mozart, and he's, being escorted by the, what was apparently a real Viennese biker gang. And they've got all the spikes and stuff, Amadeus, Amadeus. And if I have a cool head, I might just replace this guy's head, because I don't like this guy's head. So, do I have cool Orlock heads? I guess I want to be cool Orlock heads. I guess it could be any head. Boop. How about that one? No, not you. You look like my science teacher from high school. That's the same one I have. You look like a guy I play Warhammer with. Derogatory. Power Knife is my go-to for my non-dedicated melee characters. It's basically a power sword without parry, but at half the cost. Oh, yeah. Wait, is the Dr. Seuss song from The Simpsons a reference to another song? I don't know The Simpsons much. I have somehow culturally missed The Simpsons. I know, that's kind of baffling, but I did. But if it goes like that, then yes, it is. Just look up Rock Me Amadeus. It's by Falco. I mean, most of it is German rap, but, it's not bad. And, It's very funny. What does it go like? Dr. Seuss, Dr. Seuss, Dr. Seuss, Dr. Seuss, Dr. Seuss, Dr. Seuss. I don't know. I think you've lost me, guys. I think I'm going for the Servo Claw purely on vibes at this point. You know, logic and everything else be darned. You know, ignoring the fact that I just spent 40 minutes painting this guy, which is not a big deal because I want to paint him anyway. I post for you later. Okay. I wanted to source a supply of Stormcast Immortal heads. I don't know the Immortals. Which one are the Stormcast Immortals? I have Stormcast. Oh wait, here's the perfect head. It's just a dog head. It's just gonna be a furry. You know what? Just put him on here. Just. So the problem is that it's one of the horrifying Necromunda dogs. It means it's all like, you know, doesn't have any ears. I don't like that. Wait, Josh, of all the horrifying things in Necromunda, that's what upsets you? Yes. I draw the line at mistreatment of fake animals, dang it. Never trust a man who plays the RVD's class in Darktide and doesn't use the doggo. It's like, what are you even doing? Doggo best friend. Says the guy who never ever plays with a Cyber Mastiff. Spiky heads look nice in human body. Yeah, I just don't like. Is an Immortal a class of Stormcast, or you just mean the Stormcast Do you mean Stormcast Eternals? Because that's their actual name, not Stormcast Immortals. Not to actually use, sorry, but that would explain my confusion. Yes, I actually don't hate the Stormcast heads. I know a lot of people really don't like them, but I actually don't mind them. Okay, so let me see, what head have we got? I know that none of the heads I pick you guys are not gonna be able to see, so I'm just kind of going through heads. I like guys with really stupid facial hair. The facial hair that I don't have the guts to grow in real life. Well, mostly because I don't want to be mistaken for a person with really weird opinions, but... Now, this is a leader, so you gotta pick someone who looks older and is wizened. And in the case of Necromunda, that means has a big mustache. No, you don't have a mustache. Can't pick you. Guy who looks like my dad. Thankfully, none of these guys look like my dad. If my dad looked like this, I'd probably be a very different person. What is with this head? Oh, that's a girl's head, that's why. Which I could pick, because they're kind of unisex. Ooh, alright, so I've got... Alright, so rather than redo him, which I'm not going to, because we'll probably start with another power pick. Let me see, I've got Man with Mutton Chops and 80s Shades, or Man with Mustache and Goatee, like Old West Saloon man. Or Man with Goggles Down. Well, first things first, let's do the painful thing. I'm gonna have to pop this guy's head off and then reprime around it and then repaint his head. Did I plastic glue your head on, sir? I probably did. Look away if you're squeamish. Oh god, the blood. The horror. The horror. Beheaded a man live on camera. Well, that answers my question. He was definitely plastic glued. All right, let's clean up some of this. But hey, this is a great lesson that even if you painted somebody, nothing's sacred. You can always go back and, like, ruin things later, you know? No one can stop you. Now you're going to have to be willing to do some, some work, because I'm going to have to, like, reprime just the head, which is not a problem with brush-on primer. And I'll have to repaint it, and then I'll have to repaint the areas around it, but that's okay. I just think servo claws are cool. Plus, it'll save me 10 credits, which I know seems really weird, but that's another mesh armor suit, Well, not quite mesh armor suit. It's a flak armored suit, but... Alright, so. This is the one where it's the guy screaming. Because there's got to be a guy who can look left. I think you're engineered to look right, aren't you? Because otherwise he was doing the, like, no-scope thing, which is funny, but... Yep. I think this guy's going to be kind of built for it. Because his head is just placed the right way. Yeah, it is. Alright, so let's do the smart thing and scrape all our mold lines before we put him on. There we go. 7:58. 1 second, I gotta check something on Discord. Kevin said he might be joining later, so I'm gonna keep an eye on that. Okay, and then we just gotta surgery this on here so it mostly looks okay, which it will, because it's the same. It's easier when they're all from the same family of, like, people, right? The same kits, sorry. Hmm. Can I use that one? Or do I need to use this one? Well, let's get my plastic glue out. I'd be careful with this. Although, again, I'm going to eventually repaint this guy anyway, because I want to repaint him entirely in the actual color scheme I have now. This gray, green, and brown was fine, but I don't love it. Here we go. Look at that. Now, obviously going to have to wait a good long time for that to dry. So we'll set you off to the side and work on someone else. Really quickly going to put all these head bits back in the box so I don't lose them. Okay. Head bits back in the box. All right, well, I'm shooting for an hour, so real quick stretch break. I'm going to get up and stretch my legs and take a drink. Okay. Okay, we can put our olive flesh back because no one else is using that. Let's work on someone else we definitely know we're going to use, which is this is just our autogun champion, right? So we know she'll make it in because she's the most basic. I mean, she's not actually a champion. The model is, but we're ignoring that because I'm not giving a champion an autogun. Massive waste of their 3-up ballistic skill, right? Now, apparently women in Orlock do not wear sleeves. All the better to show off their massive buff muscles with, which is okay, you know. I'm on board. If you got it, flaunt it. Okay, I hope I don't have to make any... Okay, I should find what skin tone I used for her, because I don't remember, and if I need to make any corrections, I'm gonna want to know. So, was she rosy skin? No. Was she weathered skin? Maybe. And this is why everybody ends up painting their armies with, like, the entirely same skin tone. I didn't want to do that, because I find it boring, but, hey, we guessed right on the first try. It is, in fact, weathered skin. Boom! 360 no scope. Mostly I just noticed that because her neckline here is turning blue. Unless you went down an ammo types build with Masterwork gold plated. I could see that. Yeah, but, if you're using all the old ammo types that they have since excised from the books, yes. We don't have those books, or I don't have those books, so I don't tend to use them. I know they're out there. A lot of those older ammo types were way more interesting, way more fun, and those you could do that. As it is with an autogun, the only thing you can really get is static or warp. You know, I could give her warp rounds. For those of you not in Necromunda, what warp rounds do is when they hit you, you go insane. And insane means you have a good chance of just losing control of your character, or having them run off the board screaming, and then you just don't get them back. Warp rounds are OP. Very expensive, so maybe not OP. OP is maybe not the right word. And this is why I found the skin tone, because I just noticed that I had gotten some black on her skin there. Alright, okay, follow the process. So let's do her pants. Let's cover up my very nice Zenithal with just, you know, let's just ruin it with a nice opaque paint. Although I guess if I don't make the paint too opaque, it won't really cover it up that much. But it's a gray, so keep dreaming. Static is actually very good. I actually do like static quite a lot. Because yeah, static destroys field armor. It just has a lot less value on a auto gun where, like, okay, great, you're ignoring their armor, but you're still only a strength 3 0 AP shot. Now on a heavy bolter, or no, sorry, a heavy stubber, I think static rounds and heavy stubbers are what make heavy stubbers worth taking. Because not only do they do that, they also remove the long range penalty for some baffling reason. And ignoring armor is a lot more attractive when they're when you're firing that many bullets at once. I kind of want to bring a heavy stubber. The only reason I'm bringing the heavy bolter instead is because this one model that I really want to use is holding one. Like, that is basically the long and short of it. Again, for those who don't play Necromunda, static rounds is basically an electrically charged bullet that ignores special super sci-fi armor. So, you know, eventually when you get far enough into the game, you can get armors that, like, you know, are basically force fields. There are force fields that like turn the energy into blinding light, so one around you gets flashed by a flashbang. Or there's one that's called a displacer field, where if you get hit by it, um, the way the displacer field saves you is by moving you physically, like teleporting you, and it's proportional to the strength of the round that hit you. So if you get hit by like a missile launcher, you'll move like 8 inches away. Which of course it doesn't know about like drops or pits or anything like that, so it can like slam you into walls or drop you over a pit or something, because all it knows is to move you out of the path of the bullet or explosion that's going to hurt you. And it has a 50-50 shot of doing so, which is very, very, very good, because you can't ignore it with armor piercing. But it's comical. And static ignores that, because it's a like electro bullet that goes, nope, you don't get to use your fancy sci-fi armor. I guess I could just say the heavy bolter is a heavy stubber. I mean, as long as I clear it with my group mates, I don't think they would mind me using a heavy bolt or heavy stubber instead of a heavy bolter, given the power discrepancy between them. I do got to check what the rarity on static ammo is, though, because if it's really rare, then I'm not going to be able to get it. Although Orlock do have the bullet merchant, but I don't think you can get hangers on after that certain point either. So, oh, we got a stray little bit here. You guys probably can't see it on your screen, but a little resin flashing that I somehow missed from cleanup. There we go. Huh, that was weird. Okay. Oh, and I still missed it. What are you doing in there? Okay, more precision tool. Are you a piece of paint? What are you? No, it's a piece of resin flash. Some of these are resin kits. Older resin kits. And they mostly hold up okay, but depends on when in the mold production cycle you got yours sometimes, Alright. Well, the nice thing is we don't have to do her sleeves because she doesn't have any. So let's go on to this. I'm going to try this Thamar Black from P3. I'm going to buzz it with my big buzzer. Okay, illegal 9. So if I'm a law-abiding gang, that's 10, which goes up to 12. Ooh. That's a... Messaging Kevin. Just ping me if you want to hop in. Just letting him know that I can't see him, so... On a long rifle, it's illegal 10! Well, that's because they make wait, actually that's kind of weird. Like, why? Because I don't think they're actually that great on a long rifle, unless I'm forgetting something. Okay, I haven't used a lot of these P3 paints. Oh, 1 second. I'm gonna bring in Kevin. Miniatures rundown double, microphone, display capture, miniatures rundown main, do. That on. Oh. New caller, Kevin, you're on the line.
Hello, I purchased my washer about 3 months ago, and I have a cat, and the cat's in there.
Wait, hold on.
I need to know what to.
Hold on. It's not picking anything up for some reason. I do not know why. Audio application beta. Keep giving me voices.
Hello, I'm Kevin, and I was doing a bit, but now it's not working because it didn't get broadcasted, and that made me really sad.
Hobby Hangout? Yeah, okay, I'm on there. Try now?
Hello, I am Kevin.
Nope, still no.
Oh, I ruined it.
No, you didn't. This thing is dumb and bad is the problem.
Stupid free OBS.
Let's try adding another one. Audio application, audio capture. Oh, for some reason Discord is not showing up. There's an option.
They took it away because it was being used irresponsibly.
Discard. Application audio. Try now.
Hello, I'm Kevin.
Okay, there you go. I think you actually might be a little too loud. All right.
Oh.
That's not on
Sorry.
your end. I mean on Discord's or on OBS's end.
Oh, okay.
All right, there we go. We got Kevin in. Yay!
Yay! I had a bit where I was calling in, but then it didn't work, and then it got ruined, so I'm not going to do it now.
Yeah, it was coming in on my microphone, which I was just because I didn't have it set up. So, all right, let us know how the levels sound, folks.
Yeah, if I'm too loud, then you can just shut me up.
Or if it's popping through my microphone, I need to tweak the microphone settings.
Or it could be that too.
All right. Now you're not on video, but are you painting?
No, I am not. I just got done doing laundry.
Oh, okay.
So that's way less exciting than painting. I'm coming through on an Oculus headset speaker or something somehow. That's awesome.
That was my that was on my microphone. Yeah, because it was coming. You were coming through my speakers, which were coming to my microphone because I hadn't set it up to not do that yet.
Because what we want is me in virtual reality. That's exactly what we need, and I can virtually. I don't know. I didn't have an end for that joke. I'm sorry, guys.
I mean, we've all seen Lawnmower Man.
That's true. And I am the giant head. I have a giant head.
Lawnmower Man is in your brain now.
Was it a whites, colors, or beige load? Excellent question. It was I threw everything into the hamper load.
Also called the college load.
Because it just needed to get done. Look, my wife didn't find out, so
look, I'm gonna be honest.
She'll
with
never
you folks,
know.
I have never in my entire life sorted my laundry.
That's a life skill, Joshua.
Nope.
I don't know why I called you Joshua.
You wash
but
it.
I feel like I'm channeling your dad. And
no, who do you think I learned not to sort my laundry from? Look, you just wash it on cold, and you're fine.
Yeah, just and no fabric softener.
I actually don't use fabric softener because I hate the way it makes my clothes feel.
Oh, really? I love the way it makes my clothes feel.
Hate the smell.
The smell. You hate the smell? Oh, the smell is the best thing about fabric softener.
No,
it's like that bear just like inserts itself into your nose. And
nope, I do not like fabric softener. I do not use it. There's your Josh weird fact of the day. He does not use fabric softener.
Man, just that snuggle bear just sneezing directly into my nostrils, and that flowery chemical scent just pervading throughout my entire olfactory senses.
Oh.
But
So have you?
hobby wise, I am working on stuff. I'm working on my golden demon entry.
Oh,
Um, so I'm not actually on uh not actively working on it at this moment, but that's my project that I've been touching on throughout the day, in between loads of laundry and dishes and other stuff. So,
so how's your brother Mitchell doing?
like after watching the videos over again, because I do watch a video several times over for quality checking. I take that to mean whatever you will. Um, the uh, I understand where people are coming from.
Well, that one especially, like the one that, because that was what my friend Crit. Um, like the screen that he found was you two making like the exact same face.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I saw it, and
That one was like, oh, okay.
I one of these days, me and him are going to coordinate on a shoot, and we'll be wearing the same exact outfit, and nobody will know the difference. It will be a mystery, and we won't introduce we won't introduce ourselves either. We'll just leave it up to the viewer to determine who's who, and then we'll know who the real fans are.
Yeah, the ones who say you're related.
Look, I I I do like I do appreciate the good inside joke, the clean inside joke that we can broadcast,
Oh yeah, like that's
and
always, yeah. I'll take that over people being weird.
yep. But
Besides, no one was
no, I
being actually
was
weird about it, so.
well. I mean, that's fine. I mean, like if they want to be, they can. That's fine. I'm not gonna. I'm not sure how weird you could get about me and Mitchell being related. Like that's just kind of a.
Is that a
It's
challenge?
just.
Are you a fool? What's wrong with you? Don't invoke. Don't ask that
I'm
question on the internet.
uh, here. Look, this is the currency. Attention is the currency of the internet, and I am seeking it all. So go out there, ye fools, and make it weird.
Oh God, that is
I've
not
done it. I've done it.
for legal reasons. This is not a. The opinions of Kevin do not reflect that of Miniatures Rundown as a whole. Which honestly, we should just have
But
that
they
boy to play it on all of our episodes at this point.
it so it's really funny because like behind the scenes, and Mitchell and Joshua attest to this. I am super professional and like very serious, and then but once I get in front of a camera or behind a microphone, I become whatever this is, and for no good reason, except it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Well, we gotta have fun with this. Now,
That's right.
not
What?
not to change the subject, but I gotta ask before I forget, because this was thinking of, I was thinking of this earlier.
Oh, fine. What?
Well, it's Necromunda related. So
Okay.
for
I'm still annoyed.
well, maybe I don't know. It kind of ties in because you're playing squats for our Secundus campaign, right?
Correct. Yes.
Now you were wanting to use your trikes, like because you custom built some Votan trikes into, I think, light or medium vehicles.
Well, I was trying to. That was my first. Well, for when we did Wacky Racers,
Yes.
I was attempting to do that, and then I shifted to the Ridge Hauler. So I didn't actually complete any of those vehicles, but I do have squat trikes, like just regular trikes.
Okay, but you're actually just planning on using the rig for the.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Never mind.
Yep, yep. I wasn't doing anything off the wall silly. I've actually never played with the Scalving Explorator before, so I was excited to actually just get to play with that model. So I've had it since it came out, and I painted it, and then I've never actually played with it.
Right. And I think it uses the custom rig rules, but who cares?
What does?
Well, because in if you are a Secundian incursion gang, or if you're,
Um,
unless you're playing on the Malstrain side, which you could do, um,
um.
you don't actually get to pick a vehicle.
Oh, okay. I
You have,
understand now. I understand
yeah,
what we're getting at.
you have
Okay.
to bring one of the rig crews. Like you have to bring a ferryman crew, and
Oh,
they all
okay.
have a custom rig.
I see. Okay.
So
Well,
what
then
I was,
I will build a custom rig
well,
if that's the
although what
case.
I was going to ask was, is like you could be squats playing on the side of the Malstrain, and then you just get 400 credits to do with whatever you like.
That's true, but I don't see the profit in that.
That was going to be my question because like if you were still using the trikes, I was going to be like, wait, so are you playing Malstrain and what's your story behind that? Because that sounds really fun. Like, how could you like? Why would the squats be fighting on the side of the
So I guess
Malstrain?
the only thing that I could see is so in Necromunda, of course, the squats are famous chem dealers. Like that's a big thing that they're involved with.
They are.
And yeah,
I did not know that
like
actually. Okay.
yeah, that they because they are naturally like resistant to chems, so they use a lot of chems. And um they're the Scalving Explorators were originally designed to carry chems across the wastes.
Oh no.
Yeah. Um so I am I could see an angle of like wanting to supply like, but the mouse strains aren't really like I mean I don't know, diplomacy with the mouse strain seems difficult.
Right. Like, yeah, you think that they wouldn't do that, like, because you could just say, well, they're promising us Archaeotech. But then
Right.
the rules for like Shadow of the Malstrain wouldn't make a lot of sense unless you like were saying that this sect that you're playing got infected as a result of their dealings,
Right.
and like
Which
maybe
could I mean,
you know
that could be an opportunity for some fun modeling stuff.
yeah. I was just thinking of like squats being in the mercenary employ of the Malstrain, like completely cynically just being like, yeah,
And
whatever.
I think that I mean, I could totally see that for sure. I just don't know, like I'm trying to narratively put together like how that would work
Yeah, I can't think of
with,
something.
without it being like really like over artificial. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and without like I can't make it work in my head with the Shadow of the Malstrain, which is supposed to be like an actual
Yeah,
psychic thing.
right. So, no, I was not. I was planning on not being on the mouse train side, which that was my intention.
Oh yeah,
Um,
you could just use the exporter and just use it as a custom rig.
I could, but actually, it's an opportunity to do something fun.
That's
So,
that's fair.
um, I could come up with something. It's not like I have any shortage of things to make stuff out of. So, but yeah, that sounds fun. Um, Speaking of, I do want to do for Secundus as well. I want to lean really heavy into the exosuit stuff because that seems really appropriate
Yes.
for the Hive Secundus thing. Uh, and especially with all of the mouse drain and all that stuff, like it seems um they want Adam Arpain said they want to protect the mouse drains so they can harvest them for chem ingredients. Okay,
Oh, there you
okay,
go. There you
okay.
go.
Mm, I like that. Well, maybe we'll see how like the sides shake out too, and
That's
like
that's one of the
because
reasons I'm asking because like I think at current time I think Mitchell's the only one planning to play a Malstrain,
okay, so maybe
which
I'll have to
doesn't
side with Mitchell.
actually matter.
Not super, but it's still like it would be nice for the mouse drains to not be like you know the only one.
Right.
You know, but yeah, the like I said, I wanted to really lean into the
Oops.
exosuit stuff because you can run a gang of just almost all exosuits except for the Chartermaster.
Right.
So
Ironically.
yeah, um, but that's okay. He doesn't need to be in a big heavy suit. He watches the other ones work. He's the shift leader. So I guess that's a champion's role as a shift leader. But regardless, he's up in the balcony watching the factory floor. So
Yeah,
except my
capitalism.
church. Hey, that's that. We're talking about squats, perfectly fine. Um, the except for the fact that my charter master usually is the one that's like, especially early campaign, is really involved because he's my best fighter. But
Oh yeah, that's the thing about like I got my Orlock over here. Like I'm gonna you know um I just kit bashed. You missed it. I just put a different head on this guy so I could use him. Um
mhm,
and like yeah, because like I was like, okay, how do you want to build your leader in Orlock? And I had no small amount of consideration into just going absolutely all out and having him have like you know the power pick and the multi or the
mhm,
combi bolter melta out the gate.
right,
Just because Orlock leaders are scary.
right, yeah. That was part of my thought process too with being coming over to Secundus on that side of things being Like, these dwarves are suited up to like really like, dig in and make themselves known, even though like the exosuits aren't really that great, but they have neat weapon options. I'll say that. They're
Yeah.
but the fact that they only have a 5-up save for the exosuit is kind of weird. But
Yeah, it is, and I guess it is a mining suit, but even so, like, Necromunda and saves have always had an interesting relationship.
it has, yeah. I agree with that. Because you think about like, and it's always been like historically like, mesh armor, but you never really see a whole lot of mesh armor on any models.
No, there's one Vansar champion with it, and it kind of looks like a mesh cloak. But the way it describes it is it's basically supposed to be chainmail.
Right. Yeah. That's all it is. Like the descriptions that are in the, war gear section are it's linked rings of metal that protect you.
And
And then like it's better protection than flak armor, which is like flak armor is like really supposed to be like kind of the standard, like the high standard of protection in the Imperium. Like, aside from power armor and carapace, but
yeah, and that's
which is
that's that's kind of
exceedingly
weird
rare.
that like flak armor on guardsmen is better than flak armor in Necromunda. Although partially that
Uh-huh.
might just be because maybe the flak armor is not the same.
That's probably and that's how I rationalized it,
Yeah,
was that it's just like the flak armor, like, and that is probably true for all things. Like anything that goes to the Astra Militarum is by definition higher quality than anything that you're going to find in the Underhive.
right.
And yeah,
But you could also say
because
the same thing about the fact that Vansar the Vansar are all wearing these armored suits that apparently do nothing.
right, they don't even protect them from the radiation.
No, well, I guess they do, but
Well, I guess to an extent,
but like yeah, all the Vansar like yeah, they have armored under, their armored undersuits are what give them a 6 up.
right.
But apparently they're like that carapace looking armor just is absolutely useless. I guess it's
Like,
made of plastic.
it's like in the 80s when when shoulder pads were in style on suits and stuff. Like it's the same
And now you're on,
concept. That didn't offer.
now you're on to Orlock because yeah, she's definitely wearing a power suit here, power pads here. Like, look at those.
Oh man, yeah. I just got out. Speaking of the 80s, I just got back from. We saw the Backrooms last night, and that was really cool. It
Oh,
was a
okay.
good movie.
I've heard varying things about it. Yeah.
Yeah, we had talked about it a couple streams ago. About I really wanted to go see it, and I had finally opportunity to see it, and
Was it everything you hoped
it
for?
was. It was. I'm super happy with the movie. I thought it was really good. And especially considering like, I mean, not in not because of, but it's fun to consider that the guy who directed it was like not even of drinking age. So
Yeah.
like that was pretty cool, and it was really funny because it was uh directed by, so Kane Parsons is the director of it, and he did a few web series before. Like The Oldest View is one, if you want to check out some of his previous work. It was really really good. And but he captured like the feel and the aesthetics of like 90s shopping in a weird
Mm,
way that was like for someone who definitely did not grow up in the 90s.
right.
And
Which is interesting that you could do that.
right. And because it's funny because like I'm a kid of the 90s, and like so I have very like distinct and like perhaps warped memories
Right.
of what that was, of what things were like back then, which is funny because that's kind of what the theme of the movie is, without ruining anything. Is like the theme very much is memory. Like that's a very big part of the movie and the plot is memory. um but I just thought it was really interesting that this kid, and of course he, like even before he was directing and like had A24 behind him and stuff like that, the stuff that he was doing with the Backrooms, like mythos on YouTube, was really, really great for just like, you know, a couple people working on it.
Right.
So it
Well,
was really
good.
cool to see that. Yeah. I highly recommend it. It is very much a slow burn. So like if you're expecting like, Gore Smashers Head Trauma 3. It's not that, but
Hey, have you been looking through my Tubi history again? 'Cause I just watched Gore
yeah,
Smasher's Head
I
Trauma
mean,
3.
it's not as good as 4. 4, they really improved on some things. They took out a lot of CGI, did a lot more practical effects, and that was nice.
Well, and the
But
emphasis
I was
on Head Smasher and his daughter, who's, trying to break into the business of head smashing, was really touching. So I think that really upped the game.
I agree. I agree. That was some good character development there in between the actual head smashing, of
Yeah,
course.
of course.
Um, the previews for that we saw at the beginning reel for Backrooms were interesting. So like the next Evil Dead movie, of course.
Yep.
And I like the Evil Dead movies. Like, don't get me wrong. Like um they're classics in their own schlocky way. Um,
I mean, I think Evil Dead 2 is one of the best horror movies, or one of the best movies ever made. Um, pound for pound.
Fair enough.
Army of Darkness is not a good movie, but it's a great movie.
Yeah, I agree with that. I actually that's a sentiment I very very much jive with Army of Darkness. Um,
Like, I mean, and it's
the
not actually a bad movie, but it's not. It's a fantastic movie that is not a good movie, but it's not trying
no,
to
it
be.
is no, it's definitely not. And none of the Evil Deads were actually really trying to be. Like that wasn't the point. But um, then the Resident Evil reboot,
Oh God, I forgot about
interest,
that.
yeah, which I did not know was a Resident Evil movie till they showed the title at the end of the trailer. So that bodes well. Uh, though of course Resident Evil has changed a lot over the years.
I mean, yeah, and
But
like the games are still going pretty strong.
yeah, the games are fantastic. The
Like
latest one is great.
they managed to turn that
Um,
around.
yeah,
So if this is the Resident Evil 7 of the Resident Evil movies, then like
it may be. Like I don't know. It is. So the thing is, it looks like it's a really huge departure from the previous um, like I guess film series. I
off
mean,
the
they're
wall action schlock that it was.
right because like the thing that made the Resident Evil games good, like 7 onwards, from Biohazard on up, was they leaned into the horror element of the games a lot more.
Right.
And like I mean, there were still like action games in a lot of senses, but they took the time to really like pace the horror and like go back to those roots of what the game was back when it was, the tank control
Good.
and yeah, and not make it just another generic cover shooter. And I think that was a really good decision.
It's so strange because the moment they took the leap into being an actual action game, which is Resident Evil 4, I think is one of the best in the series.
So I think 4 is really really good as a standalone game. Like my problem with 4 is that I compare it to Resident Evil as an entire franchise.
Hmm.
And so like when I look at it in that view, and of course like a problem with that, caveat for that is that with its perspective, I um I grew up with like the PlayStation 1 Resident Evils and stuff like that. And so like part of what made those games scary because the graphics were limited, because the sound was limited, was that you couldn't control your character very well.
Right. Yeah, it was frustrating.
And it is part of what made the game scary though.
Right.
And
Yeah. Lack of feeling of control.
right. And so like then when it transitioned from that to being a very much an action game with 4, it was and I have not been back to revisit 4 since it came out. So there's also that. But uh it just felt weird to me.
That makes sense.
But I've also been playing Dark Tide again.
So have I. We need to play that together
Yes, we do.
because
Um I forgot how amazing the sound design is in that game.
oh god, it's. I mean, the soundtrack alone is just.
Yeah. Like
Um, and then yeah,
so I've been playing a veteran, and so I got out I finally got a decent plasma gun, and firing the plasma gun and like that kind of that woomph of like it kind of like like compressing all the air around before it fires, like that deadening of the sound
Yeah.
is just a genius touch. Like I thought that like that and the satisfaction, even though it only lasts for like 1.5 seconds of firing the bolter on full auto into a crowd.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
they make the bolt gun feel like a bolt gun in that it's not actually very good, but it's
right. But it's impressive.
well, and it is absolutely devastating. It's just only devastating
Yeah,
for about 1.2 seconds, and then it has a
right.
40-minute long reload.
Yeah. So I was playing as for my veteran, I'm playing on the stealth track, like the covert ops track. So like my um special ability is like you basically drop all aggro and you are invisible to enemies for like 5 seconds or whatever. And so I've actually been playing with that with the shovel and the double barrel shotgun. I've really been enjoying the double barrel shotgun.
Oh, I don't.
Just the
I didn't.
lowest possible tech.
I think I didn't play veteran when they had because I think I got mine to 30 before they had the double barrel. Maybe it wasn't very good or what. I don't know. It's been a long time since I played veteran because everything else keeps coming out.
Right.
But
And it is one of those classes that kind of like shares some weapons with other classes, so it's not quite as interesting.
yeah,
But um, and then I have my zealot, which the zealot's a lot of fun.
Zealot's a bucket of fun. Just yeah, very. It feels they do a great job of capturing the feeling of being a zealot with a double chainsword and just running into a group of
Yep,
people and somehow surviving.
right. Yeah, and like so, I had been uh playing it in tandem with Space Marine 2, and the interest, like I love the feeling of like Space Marine 2 is a power fantasy, and Darktide is at most in most almost every time you play it on an appropriate difficulty for yourself, it is you're trying not to fuck up simulator,
Yes,
mess up simulator, and um I always felt that was a I I enjoy that juxtaposition of like when you're playing Space Marine 2, you feel completely in control of what's going on. You feel like you're just blowing things apart left and right, and then in Dark Tide, you're just hoping there's not another horde around the corner.
right.
And
I will say that the great sound design does continue with the Skatari
oh, good,
because of course I bought that class. Um,
yeah, yeah.
and
Imagine my surprise.
yeah, it is wonderful to play. The fact that they basically said, "What is a galvanic rifle?" M1 Garand,
Yep, yep,
and it doesn't have the ping, but it might as well.
right.
um, and it feels so satisfying to use in a way that so far none of the other I never got along with marksman weapons on the veteran.
Okay.
Um, because they always felt like it I think it's a charge mechanic because all of the Lucius pattern guns or the Hellbores.
Yes, yeah. The Hellbore rifles
I
are
hate
all charge it.
I
Yeah,
hate the charging, whereas the galvanic rifle doesn't have that, so it just feels really good to use. And yeah, it's a low ammo count and doesn't reload super fast, but dang, is it satisfying.
yeah. And you're fine as long as you pair it with a crowd control melee or something like. That's kind of my um, philosophy when I play with the veteran with the shovel. And well, when I play with the shovel and the bolt gun, like the bolt gun is there to deal with the faraway threats, and like or if a brute or something comes down on us,
Yeah,
I
or a
can just
boss.
dump I can dump a magazine into it, and then it's fine. Or and then the shovel is there. The shovel is my workhorse in that lineup because I can just it basically handles everything except for the biggest stuff.
Right.
So and it's just really fun to flip the shovel to the spike side and just thwack.
Yep.
But I've been enjoying it. It's one of those, like we said at the start when Dark Tide first came out. I remember years ago when we talked about this was it was we have to just wait for Fat Shark to fix it.
Yep. And they did.
Yeah, just like how Vermintide worked.
Yep.
And
Knew they would, and they did, and now it's great. It's not
yep,
flawless. The shield enemies do kind of suck, and they need to be reined in.
they do. The little shield grunts. Yeah,
Yes.
those guys are a pain in the ass, but That's what the flip side of the shovel was is for me because I found that it actually like gets through the shield,
When
which
they
is interesting.
first launched, it did not. Like when it first
Oh,
launched,
it didn't.
their
Oh,
frontal
okay.
arc was basically an invulnerability bubble,
Oh, fun.
and it sucked. And they fixed it so that's like, okay, now hitting things on their head actually hits them on the head. I still don't love them. They're very irritating
Um,
when they're in a giant crowd of things and you have to fight them.
yes, yes, that's the because you're just wading through a bunch of poxwalkers, and then there's just a couple of those guys, and it's like, well, now I got to deal with this, nonsense. So,
Right.
and they don't quite have the same profile as as the bigger carapace guys. So, with the chain axes, and so they're a little bit harder to pick out of the crowd. So you don't quite know that they're coming nearly as much, and you can't ping them.
Right.
So
And it's very irritating that little shield blocks a bolter shot. Like it, it
yeah,
shouldn't.
at, at the very minimum, the bolt shell should just like fling that shield from their hands.
And there are things that destroy the shield, but it seems very inconsistent.
I agree.
And like the thunder hammer should just,
Oh yeah, that should just like you're having a shield, a piece of metal in front of you does not help the fact that you're getting hit with a thunder hammer.
right, like you just die. Like I get it with
Like,
like little knives and whatever, then yeah, that's like a great thing for the shield to kind of counter.
but
Um
no, the sheer kinetic force is still going to pulverize you. I'm sorry.
right. Well like yeah, our power weapons should just go through it.
Right. Well, the I just chalked that up to the fact that the power weapons that we as rejects receive are just not the same thing as the real power weapons that the proper military gets. And
They actually do that with the Skitari power weapons are different and better.
oh yeah,
Yeah, the Skitari power weapon is always on
oh neat,
because
that's really cool.
it's
That's a
better
really cool detail
maintained. It has a
because
different
because
it has a different mechanic where you can like choose to it like it's always on and then you can choose to like get a more powerful strike to drain some of it for a bit and then it builds back up.
okay, that's a cool because Hadron likes you guys.
Yes,
So
you are Hadron's little cog champ, right?
my I I do really appreciate having a Skatari on the squad though
Oh yeah, they're
because
that freaking data
just
skull.
yep. Oh, good. We none of us have to play those mini games now.
Right.
Good.
Speaking of which, they added 2 new mini games. I don't know if you've
They
noticed.
did, and they are specific to different missions. Like
Yes,
the one where you're poisoning the tree has you get to find the right injection sites,
yes, and I hate them all.
and then the and the one on the train where you have to keep the ball in the middle.
Oh god, I hate that
And
one. No, there's another new one then
is there?
that just shows up with some of the other ones. It's where you have to. There's a pattern of like there's all the
Oh,
symbols.
you have to find the four square.
Yes.
Yeah,
So there's 4
that
now.
one's yeah. I mean, I am glad that there's some variety. That it's not just the not just the click at the right time puzzle.
Yeah, because that did get old.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. Like, it's the same thing that Helldivers does too, where it's like it's not a hard. They don't give you a hard puzzle, but it's just enough to keep you busy while everything's going to hell around you.
Yeah, it's supposed to
And
take a little bit of time so that you have to engage with it.
right, but then you have if you have a Skitari on the team, guess what? You don't have to do.
Although if you take any of the other blitzes, you lose that.
That's true.
And
Um,
they don't tell you that.
yeah,
Um,
but I have rarely encountered though of course there's a minimum of 2 Skitari on every team now, but I've rarely encountered a team with a Skitari where we haven't had access to the data skull.
that is true. Weirdly, when I started playing other classes, it's like all the Skitari disappeared.
Really?
Because like I finished my weeklies on my Skitari, and I was like, I'll save it a little bit. I don't need to rush to 30. So I went and played like
Oh,
my other things, and then suddenly not a Skitari to be found.
interesting. Yeah, when I first logged on after they launched Skitari, it was like, well, it's me and 3 Skitari.
Oh yeah,
Me and 3 Skitari.
absolutely. Like you were the odd
But
one out not playing a
I'm
Skitari.
not surprised.
That's how
Like,
it always went. And
Yeah.
I will say it's a lot better than when Hive Scum launched because 4 Hive Scum does not guarantee a win.
Nope. Super does not. They're great, but they're not great as an entire team.
They can be if
Which
everyone's if they're played well, they're terrifying.
right.
But
But
it's
it's
not
just
like a
it's
Skitari where they have like they don't Hive Scum don't have things that get you out of jail.
right. Yeah, they are a high skill cap class for sure. Which is it's really fun to watch somebody who knows how to play Hive Scum.
Yes.
Um, and they do some serious work. But I want to start my arbitrator. I haven't done that yet. 'Cause that's just
Arbitrator's
like
one that has like every get out of jail free card if you bring the dog.
right. Yes. Well, I I will never not have the pupper.
But between if you bring a melee with a shield and the dog, you are functionally going to be unkillable unless everyone else dies and you screw up.
Oh, I've actually found that I've finally gotten to Auric difficulty. I don't like playing on Auric difficulty. I much more enjoy Damnation, but um I I have noticed more often than not though, and this was true in Vermintide as well, that playing on the higher difficulty, the game is actually kind of easier because you tend to be playing with people that are not going to ruin it for you.
Yeah, I still kind of only hang around the 3rd difficulty, Heresy.
Uh-huh.
Mostly because I've not like even the ones when I've gotten a character to 30, I kind of stop playing that character and go play something else because I want to get everybody
Okay.
30, and I'm pretty close. I've only got my Ogren and the Psyker left because those are my 2 least favorite classes. So I've really not
Right.
focused on gearing up everybody yet.
Okay.
And yeah, difficulty 2 Malice is actually very often harder than Heresy because like you get a lot more dead weight.
Yeah. Oh, I see that little skeleton just running off into the distance.
Yep.
Good.
Did you see that the Skitari skeleton does stop at their elbows and knees?
I did notice that. Yes. The I did watch the intro video for this Qatari, and that is prime 40K right there.
Oh
That
yeah,
is peak 40K.
and the Skitari voice lines are all so good.
Yes, they like I get there's a lot to say negative about how Fat Shark handles their games, but the one thing they did not skimp on for this game was sound design. Like
New.
the sound and everything is just incredible. Like I hear the Dark Tide soundtrack in non 40K related like stuff. And like specifically the the one horde track or just like that repeating like chant over and over again. I sometimes hear that in like
That one's
completely
uh disposal unit. The fact I have
yes,
that on a
disposal
YouTube
unit. Yep.
playlist because I love that one so much.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
one and the Gauntlet, which is the
Yes.
broken printer one.
Yep. Yeah, the disposal unit. I sometimes hear that outside of a 40K context, and that just it always warms my heart to hear that. Like I'll hear it in like if I come across like a motivational thing or something or another, and like you know what, that does get my blood pumping. All right, I'm behind you. And oh shoot,
Hate to say it, but Korax White's a really good white.
I thought we had established it wasn't.
No, the new Korax White's like I'm actually kind of really digging it.
Oh, nice. Well, that's good.
Like it's like covering really well
The
over
cover, yeah, I'm watching you, and the coverage is really good
like that's a
over that
single
black.
coat over a Zenithal. I mean, I messed up over here, but I'll clean that up real quick. Yeah, I'd heard that it was good, and that's why I picked up a pot to try. And
Uh huh.
yeah, wow, they actually made a good white paint.
Good for them.
Off white. I think that's maybe why it's good, is because it's not a white paint. It's that kind of
Oh, very, very, very light gray.
yeah. It's like a yeah. This is not a white. This is a very 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 light gray, which is fine. That's actually I would not be painting a white anyway.
Right. Which is nice because then you can go over it with like a titanium white or something like that if you want to do highlights or
Yeah, I'll highlight the
blend
edge of
up
the
or
cloth
something.
with a titanium white.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been painting. I've actually been working on some commission painting too, and painting somebody's Cruel Boys army.
Oh,
And so they guy wanted it to be painted they like display level. So I'm like, all right, I can do that for you.
don't you
It's not gonna be cheap.
don't you have a display level Cruel Boys Army?
Right. That's what I showed.
Okay, yeah, I was
Like,
going to say, well, this is what it's going to
yeah.
look like.
And so he was like, okay.
Do
And
you
then
just want
like
this one? That's
no, no, I worked too hard on my Cruel Boys army to ever sell that.
that's fair.
Um so but I told him like what the price would be for something like that. And he said, okay, I don't care. Like, okay, you got it, buddy.
All
So
right.
that felt good.
Yeah.
Um
Well, good luck. Hope it goes well.
yeah, it's going fine. I got a couple. I'm working on all of his monsters first. I got almost all of them done. He's really happy with how those turned out. Uh, and now I'm working into the medium-sized monsters, and then I'll not. Then it's a trudge of the infantry.
Yeah. Do I give her a red case bolter or a auto
Yes,
gun?
yes.
It would pop, but she is also only a ganger, so
I mean, but here's the thing, though, is like if she's just a ganger, like that's more of a reason to like really like gussy up your stuff and make yourself noticed out there.
let's
Like
see. I've
you
got
know
my
that.
beret maroon. I've got my burnt red. Got my red oxide. I think a red
Ooh,
oxide.
yeah, do that. Make it bright.
Well, it'll get knocked down with a wash.
Well, I know, so make it bright.
Right, yeah. That being
I
said, I
have
might
to.
want to do the hair first. Because that might determine.
Well, that's true. That you might have some like, what are you gonna do with the hair? You gonna do something crazy? Do something crazy.
Orlock doesn't really do super crazy hair.
That's true.
There was one that was like a this almost makes it look like a kind of a auburn-ish, but I can't remember what color I used. I know it was something from the Army Painter historical set. Resplendent red? No. Camo brown, I think, was it. It's like a brown with a little bit of
Oh,
red to it.
oh, okay, yeah. I use something similar for beard colors when I'm mixing up my dwarfs. I don't like to
Yes.
have the same beard color going across the entire line.
You missed someone earlier in chat. He's on Discord. It was what's it? The Battleshock's favorite Nurgling, who is a like you, is an all dwarf player. He's got all dwarves.
Oh yes.
So he's got the KO and the Fire Slayers and the
Mm.
Votan.
After my own heart.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. All dwarves all the time.
That's right. That color looks nice.
Yeah, it's like a. It's weird when it goes on because it's called camo brown, and I think this is from the German set, so it's like that weird kind of like off
Oh,
reddish
that yeah,
brown camo they used.
yeah.
But yeah, when it comes out the bottle and goes on, it almost looks like ginger,
Mhm.
but like realistically ginger, not like anime red. You know.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with anime red before we get hate from weebs.
I mean, if I was painting Escher,
Yeah, it's fair.
or if it was in theme with my team.
I just got my got done printing my Inferno pistol for my cosplay for
Ah,
Grand
yes.
Narrative.
Inferno pistol, fancy.
Yes,
I like
because
how you
I've
asked us which one to
changed.
go for, then you went, never mind, Inferno.
Yep, yep. Because well, I decided to change my character to a witch hunter.
Oh, right, yeah. Okay, so that's more on theme.
Yeah, I decided that it'd be more fun to role play an Inquisitor,
It
so I could
is
be
Saltspire voice
absurd.
the entire time.
So here I I want I really need somebody to come to record when we go, because I am currently making a prayer book for with a bunch of stuff in it to give sermons in between rounds.
Oh my god. All right, everyone,
And
take your bets.
so
How long until Kevin is asked to leave?
I'll be in the convention center. It'll be won't be the weirdest thing people see there.
That's true.
But I'm and I'll be an unknown quantity of alcohol deep, so we'll see how those go. Um, which I mean, a drunk salt spire sounds amazing.
I mean, there was that one event they do every year where you could like the Festag event where you could actually go get
Oh
drunk.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
could go see what
yeah.
he does in those voice lines.
I could,
Okay, yeah,
but yeah, I like that a lot. I think that looks really good.
yeah, nice black headband, and then I got to do the goggles underneath. We'll wait for that to dry. Um, with that in mind, I don't think I'm gonna do a red gun because the red and the ginger will kind of
A little bit too much, yeah.
yeah.
I agree with that.
I'll just do a basic gunmetal
Purple,
gray gun.
purple, purple,
Purple?
purple.
No. If it was a warp bolter, absolutely.
Okay,
But it's not.
fine.
Oh god, it's a warp bolter and just purple and gold and clearly Emperor's Children based and like
Oh no, no, oh no.
what
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 did you see? I don't know if you've seen the video of the person who modded their airsoft gun to uwu and moan every time they reloaded it.
I did not, but
And
oh. It's like that one gun in Borderlands that talks when you fire.
yep. No, it uwu'd when you shot, and then it moaned when you reloaded. That's right.
Of course.
So
As the title of the video, banned from my local airsoft.
oh, definitely didn't help with anyone's immersion in that particular event.
Probably not.
All right. Well, I am going to log off. I am being summoned.
Okie dokie. Well, thanks for joining.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. I'm sorry I joined late, but next week I should be more in a place where I don't have to do everything.
Alrighty.
Um, so I'll talk to you later, Josh, and talk to you later, everybody. Remember, every dollar you give is good for me to buy stuff. I
uh,
didn't think through that.
yeah, I was about to say, are you trying to get them to give you money? Because,
That's not gonna work. This is why I was a bad salesman. So, all right.
Alrighty.
Goodbye, everybody.
See you, Kevin.
Yep.
Alright, I'm gonna go a little longer. I'm gonna at least finish up this gal. I don't have anything to do tomorrow. I'm on break. So, I'll go a little extra today. Continue with the tradition of getting to the point where I put a wash on somebody. So I need to do the metallics and her headband and the gun. Now for the gun, I kind of want to do something, again, not completely black, like an off black, a gray, but a different one than what we've done already. Because I haven't done strapped gray yet. I've got some of that on my palette here. Let's see. All those are just going to look like black. I guess not. We're going to have to redo the fingies on here on her. Because I broke my rule of painting bottom up, so yeah, we'll have to redo the fingers. That's okay. Now, and this will help with tying the model together. And then the trigger guard in there. There we go. I might have over-thinned this paint, which, you know, better than under-thinning, I guess. I'm not obscuring detail. What I will likely do is get to the point where I can give her a wash, give her a couple washes. I'm not going to use an Omni wash for this one. I'm going to do a bunch of different washes on the, you know, depending on the part. Because with the black jacket, the Marine Juice Omni wash doesn't work quite as well as it does when it's a light color. So we'll do a few different targeted washes, and I'll probably leave her there for now, just to make sure that I can get everybody table ready by the time we start the campaign. Because I could spend hours and hours and hours putting in all the loving details on this one random ganger, and I do want to, because this is one of my favorite models. Again, being an alternate model from the Forge world, so I want to put love and effort into this, but not at the cost of other folks being unpainted, you know? Now, the nice thing about her is she doesn't have any of those annoying straps across her chest, so I don't have to get my brush in there. There we go. I mean, her gun's gray. Very boring gray. I'll spice it up with some metallics and such. Alright, let's get another black bit on this collar here, because it kind of... There we go. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I'm really liking that Corex white for the cloth. Alright, oh, right, I need to get her headband and her gogglies. Ooh, that goggles is going to be hard to do. So let's start with the white. Inside the goggles. There we go. Get that white in there, because then we'll paint. Painting the frame is a lot easier than painting the lens after the frame. Definitely going to need to redo the hair as well. Well, that'll need another layer just because it's another layer. You need to wait for you to dry. While waiting for you to dry, let's put another... As good as the Corex white is, it still is a white paint. Or an off-white paint, rather, so still needs to be thinned aggressively and have multiple coats go down over this zenithal. Do-do-do-do-do. Alright. And of course, with her, we also got to figure out how do we want to paint the crate. Oh, that's pretty easy. We could just do that for metallics to start, but we won't end there. Now, I do need to get some... Ooh, the question is, do I want to paint the goggles in metallic? I kind of do. I kind of do. Well, let's first get them blocked in black, right? No, wait. First, let's do another layer of the hair. Then we'll block those in black. Looks like we're gonna get another white dot in there. At that scale, I can kind of start to see where some of the resin casting flaws come in. All right. Then we'll need to wait for that to dry. So let's do another pass, making sure all the skin's touched up where we want it. So in this case right here, her neckline. A little more blue than we like. Tips of the fingers. All right, we got to redo the tips of these fingers here. Sorry, I'm off camera. Yeah. There we go. The thumb here actually seems pretty okay. A little miscast, but otherwise okay. Ear. Yeah, 1 second. Okay, there we go. Ear's fine. Get that ear there. Wick off the excess moisture. There we go. And then go back with the black, because I think I touched that. Boom, fixed. Touched that here. Boom, fixed. All right, any other spots I missed or messed up? Are you dry yet? Not quite. Again, the humidity strikes again. I want to finish her. Whew, it's hot. All right, let's get the black line. We'll have to do the metallics another day. That's okay. Now, to be very, very careful here. Hold your breath. Because I don't want to have to redo this strap with that ginger color. There we go. Oops. Yeah. Can we grab that and fix it real quick? Yeah, there we go. Got most of it. All right. Okay. Now the really hard part, the rest of the actual goggles. Let's start here in the middle, and then just catch the edges. Yeah, taking advantage of the hooked end of our brush, actually, to press the flat hook of the hook against it. I don't know, I'm kind of second guessing if I want to do metallic on the goggles or not. Oops. Yeah, dang it. Too much, too much, too much. Scrub that really quickly. I have to do this one off camera just because. Because I'm basically doing it off camera anyway, right? Because it's so darn tiny. Okay, let's see if we can go to the other one. There we go. And, okay. Time to get an even smaller brush. Which I know I have somewhere. Haha. Itty bitty brush. A moment. Okay, so now our tiniest, smallest of brushes. It's actually not. I know some people paint. This is a size 1, and we're not even going to the double O's yet, right? Not even going to the single O's, let alone double O. We're just gonna catch the upper edge of that hair there. There we go. And same thing in here. We're just gonna kind of catching the edge of the goggles. All right. Take some orange and fix where we splotched over here. And same thing here. Probably would have been easier to paint the goggles first and then paint the hair around it. All right, and then the last thing I'll do is... Oh no, where did I put my... Are you... No, that's my Turnbull turquoise. Where's my Caribbean blue speed paint? That's what I use for my lenses. It's a nice, very, 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 very light, pretty blue. Aha. I found it. It's actually called Caribbean Ocean. Which, there we go. Caribbean Ocean. This is stuff I like a lot for downshift. There we go. Okay. I like this a lot for lenses. Just oh, yuck. Off my... If I was painting with more than a little bit of this, I would not put it on my wet palette, but I'm literally only going to dab this into the lenses, so... Oops, probably shouldn't use that on my sable brush. There! She's got gogglies. Z goggles. They do something, which is they look cool. And that's what we're going to call it for today. Mostly because it's so darn hot in here and I'm very hungry. So thank you all for joining and watching. If you're watching from the VODs, thank you for watching afterwards. We'll be back on Sunday to continue painting these Orlock, and every other Thursday Keep an eye out for some Necromunda content coming hopefully next week, and I will see you all on the flip side. Stay safe and have a great week.